Hello and welcome to episode 14 of The Buck Stops Here, my Football Manager Mobile 2018 save with Telford United. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at new faces to the squad and also taking a look at our pre-season fixtures. So let's see who's come into the team. So let's go through what's going to be my preferred starting 11 to begin with. So in goal, Jacob Marsden. Right back, Adam Henley. He's made the switch across now. Ryan Wilson at left back. Niall Mason is on loan from Doncaster. Playing as a central defender. A bit of versatility though. He could also play up in midfield and at an absolute push at full back as well. Season-long loan, and I'm sure he's going to have quite an important role for us throughout the season. And then he's going to be partnered ideally by Stephen Arthurworry. Midfield, no changes. Lussie and Cowans are my preferred starting two. Fast and Michaela has moved across to the right-hand side. Owain Jones having moved on to Bristol City for £55,000. On the left, new signing Kenji Gori. High dribbling, high pace skills. He can play anywhere in the three behind the striker, so either wing or directly behind. He looks like he's going to be a very good signing. Will hopefully have a very important role for us throughout the season. Plenty of assists, plenty of goals I'm looking for there. Behind the striker, we're going to be seeing John Marsden, and then up top, new signing Jacob Blythe, target man. Tyrone Afori was a poacher, but he's gone back to Shrewsbury. Some pretty big footsteps to follow him, bearing in mind the number that Afori scored for us last season into the 30s. Granted, we are upper league, but if Blythe could get anywhere near that, I think we'll be on for another good season. Moving on, subs, by the way, I do need to sort these out. That's just following on from how they were from pre-season games. So we're not going to be signing up with. We're not going to be starting matches with essentially three defenders and sort of, or potentially a couple of midfielders on the bench. It's not going to happen. But for now, let's just take a quick look through. So Jake Andrews, new signing. Just a bit of cover for central midfield. I felt we were lacking there, so brought him in fairly cheap on the wage front, and I say he'll come in as and when needed, as opposed to be a regular starter, I would suspect. Familiar with everybody else on the bench. Matty Elsdon, a bit more cover at centre back. I have signed him. He's played a couple of pre-season games, ratings of 6 and 4, so not ideal. I think he'll come in and be able to do a job when he does come in, but again, unlikely to be starting plenty of matches unless we run into a few injury problems, I would suspect. Noah Chesmain, another new signing, left back. We're a bit light on the fullbacks. We had Wilson, White and Henley being able to cover either. This just gives us just an extra player there to provide some cover. So ideally, I think we're seeing Chesmain and Wilson playing on the left, and then Henley and White covering the right. Moving on, Ryan White is on a season-long loan from Bolton. Ideally can play behind, or his best position is behind the striker, but he can play on the left or the right wing. Another season-long loan. Apologies if I already mentioned that. Again, on the season-long loan, I have Jody Jones. His best position's out on either wing, but again, he could play behind the striker or even as the striker. But I think we've got better options up top. As I mentioned, it's a season-long loan. Jody Jones coming in from Coventry. Matthew Barnes-Homer, we're all familiar with. Signed him, I think it was a 2-year deal I signed him onto. No, just an extra season. Probably still have a role to play, I would expect. And Joe Hewitt is the last of the new signings, only 16 years old. Some pretty good stats. I think he's probably going to get a reasonable amount of game time. Him and Blythe, ideally, would be the two I'll be turning to. So only 16, but if we keep him for a few seasons, he could well go on to develop to be an outstanding player for us, I feel. Let's just take a quick look at the squad overview. So, positives. We have a highly ambitious squad, a professional group of players, calm and amicable, on the youngest side of the division. Tends to be one of the features of my teams. I like the young players. They tend to be cheaper to sign, which particularly with sort of limited budgets is an important factor. Number of physically strong players could be useful in the National League. Good pace, highly energetic group of players, which is good. Hopefully we'll be playing games at a good tempo and hopefully try and tire out some of the opposing sides that we face. We've got great depth in the central attacking midfielder position and right wing and striker. So it looks though goals aren't going to be too difficult to come by perhaps, with plenty of strength. If somebody's struggling, we've probably got somebody who can step straight in. And also operating well below our total wage bill, one of the best training facilities, one of the best backroom teams in the division. Moving on to the negatives, appear to have a group of players lacking determination, disloyal group of players, lacking leadership. The work rate is not to the level of other teams in this division, so perhaps a couple of those are sort of together. So a lack of leadership means that work rate and the determination isn't coming through. Passing ability is not as good as other teams in the division, and we're not as comfortable on the ball. So again, those two are, I think, perhaps related. Lacking quality options at fullback. We've got options at fullback. Henley is outstanding, but perhaps beyond him, not quite up at the same level. Lacking depth in the goalkeeper position. True, we do only have the two keepers, so I may have to be looking at that. Lacking depth in the central defensive midfielder position. Not a position I play, so not really a negative for me. Lacking depth in the left wing position. We've got players who can come in and I think do a job. Lacking depth in the central midfielder position. Yeah, very much aware of that. I'm going to need Lussey and Cowans to stay fit and for long periods and try and avoid suspensions, particularly in Lussey's case. And we only have limited transfer funds to improve the squad. Well, most of my signings tend to be free transfers anyway. Perhaps not a major issue there. Suggested starting 11 is pretty close actually to what I'm already playing. It's got Jones in instead of Michaela and Chesmain, who's currently injured, instead of Wilson. So pretty close to as strong as we can get. Squad depth. Wing back position is not concerned. Goalkeeper is a concern. I think I'm going to have to get myself into the market there and find myself another goalkeeper. Club stats. Squad average age 22.76. Joe Hewitt the youngest. Matthew Barnes Homer the oldest. And yeah, we can see the rest of the stats there. So let's take a look at the pre-season fixtures. So we started off at home against Newport County, 2-1 win, 1-1 draw away at Halifax, 3-1 loss at Blackpool, and a 4-2 win at Hartlepool. So a bit of a mixed bag. Let's take a look at the Newport game first of all in more depth. John Marsden opened the scoring. Aaron Williams equalised 2 minutes into the second half, and then with 2 minutes to go, Joe Hewitt struck the winner for us. As stats show, the better of the two sides, so an encouraging opening run out. Let's take a look at player ratings. Fausto Michaela, man of the match. Yeah, not too bad for a first run out. Then a draw away at Halifax. Tom Denton opened the scoring for them. Matthew Barnes Homer equalising for us in the 68th minute. Halifax are in the same league as us, so we'll meet them a couple of times throughout the season. Better of the sides, but a bit woeful in front of goal, I'm afraid. 13 shots, only 4 on target, and only one of those found their way in. Compare that with the 6 shots Halifax had, 1 on target, and that went in. Player ratings, Tom Denton picked up man of the match. Our fullbacks performed admirably with 8s. And Matthew Barnes Home picked up an 8. Other than that, pretty much 6s, few 7s. So not our strongest or finest day. 3-1 loss at Blackpool next. So 4th minute, John Marsden missed a penalty. Kyle Vassell then in the 13th and 24th minute put Blackpool into a 2-0 lead. Joe Hewitt pulled one back in the 67th minute, hoping that's going to act as a bit of a catalyst for us, but Charlie Adams wrapped the game up for Blackpool in the 74th minute. We had over twice as many shots as they did, but they had twice as many shots on target, and they made us pay when they had shots on target. A couple of leagues up from us, and they showed their class, particularly in front of goal. Player ratings, Kyle Vassell, man of the match with 2 goals. Matty Elston there with 4. He came off at half time. Yeah, not what I was looking for. Ryan Wilson, another strong performance at left back with an 8. Evidently, Noah Chesmain coming in as focused his mind, shall we say. Other than that, Joe Hewitt picked up an 8 for his goal, mainly 7s and a few 6s dotted in there from the rest. And we finished off pre-season away at Hartlepool. Jeff Stelling look away now because, yeah, not a great day for your Hartlepool team. So Franks opened the scoring for them. And then 3 minutes later, Marsden equalised before 2 minutes later putting us into the lead. Gregler then equalised for Hartlepool 10 minutes after Marsden had put us in the lead. 2-2 at half-time. In the second half, Jacob Blythe got his first goal, scrambled one in from a corner in the 48th minute, and then the 90th minute, Joe Hewitt ensured that we would indeed be travelling back from Hartlepool and finishing our pre-season campaign with a win. 29 shots on goal shared by the teams, 14 of which were on target, so quite exciting game, I think we can say, and certainly a good way to finish pre-season. I wouldn't mind us being a bit tighter at the back. Hartlepool are a league above us, but even so, could do with tightening up. Marsden man of the match with his 2 goals, and a few 8s dotted around, but sort of 6s and 7s pretty much the order of the day. So that concludes our pre-season. Episode 15, we'll be taking a look at the first month in the National League. So that first month will see us start off the season at home against Torquay United. We'll then travel to Tranmere, host Boreham Wood, travel up to Gateshead, which will then conclude our first month in the National League. Looking forward to seeing you back so you can see how we do in that first month. Thanks very much for watching.